Alright, here's the 2022 retro game vault room tour. That's our door, same thing as last time. Again, you can see that I'm an Eagles fan, of course, and just proud we won our Super Bowl. That picture there is a character of me. A buddy of mine that I work with, Bob, had made that for me for my 40th birthday, so it was pretty cool. Geek Fest, I took the yard sign just because it's the first Geek Fest I went to in 2017 when I got back into collecting. I had always collected. I just had my stuff in storage for a long time, and 2017 was the year that I took everything out. That's the back of my door here. Just a lot of figures that I've collected over the years, especially after 2017 when I started going to thrift stores and antique shops. That's a working Sega Master System version 1 there. There's Optimus Prime here, of course. Sega Game Gear, one of my 2 Game Gears there. I had to go ahead and pick up these handhelds here. I got a few of them. I guess you could say reissues of these. There's the Sonic the Hedgehog 3-1. Again, a lot of figures from my childhood. Just had to do it. And of course, these are little figures I would pick up. Again, flea markets, thrift shops. Hey Dude, if anybody remembers that, if anybody's old enough, on Nickelodeon. That's the first season 2. Yeah, season 2. There's a Talk Boy. The Talk Boy Deluxe is behind me. You might remember Alf. There's 2 PlayStation 3s there, Fats. One is the backwards compatible one, the other is the 40 gig one. You all know what the differences are there, or you should. Time Crisis 4, bought that on dirt clearance at Walmart a few years ago. There's Gizmo Duck, which I'm not a big pop collector. This is I think I have 4 of them. The other one is Carson Wentz. And, Gizmo Duck, I was looking for him for a while. Apparently they stopped making that one. And, he's my favorite Disney character. So I think he's so cool. I like gizmos. And when I was a kid, I knew that. And, Gizmo Duck, again, was just my favorite. There's a 1991 baseball almanac. I remember... I had to pick that up, I think, for pennies at a flea market, and it was really cool because those almanacs have year by year stats, and they're just so fun to look over. I looked them over as a kid. Macho Man Pops. Let's see. There's Yoda holding my Project Scorpio, Xbox controller. There's Casey, kind of like an educational robot toy from the mid-'80s. And it's Randall Cunningham, one of my favorite athletes in the 80s and 90s. Of course, you can see that I was a Game Pro fan. I had to put that on the wall. I wanted a good way to display my Game Pro magazines, or at least the older ones from the 90s, and I think this was my wife's idea, to be honest with you, so thanks a lot there, baby mama. She's not my baby mama, she's the wife of my child, the mother of my child, I should say. There's my Batman figure here, the 13-inch, 15-inch. I had gotten him for, I don't know, my 10th or 11th birthday, and, over the years, when you're a kid, things get thrown out, mom has to make room for new toys, and so he went missing, until I started back collecting again, and I had picked him up, and then, of course, weeks later, I remember going to the flea market, and there was Robin. I'm like, wow, never had him, but lady sold him to me for $10. I thought that was really cool. Of course, the He-Man guys here. He-Man stuff. Diana Drive yard sign. It's the yard sign of the neighborhood that I grew up in for 20 years. My entire childhood was there on Diana Drive. You might see some Roger Rabbit stuff. Big fan of Roger Rabbit. There's my leg lamp, of course. Even the lamp lights up. There you go. There we go. Little shelf here. That's my high school graduation ring here, with a couple of smaller mock World Championship rings. There's my TurboGrafx 16 with CD player. And the multi-tap there with the arcade stick. One of my many TurboGrafx controllers. There's the Master System 2. Of course, your Nintendo. Super Nintendo. The Ouya, which has a lot of emulated games on it. There's a few more of my handheld gizmos. My Xbox Series S, I'm sorry. Sega Genesis, with the CD, the 32X attachment. There's a bunch of my minis here. A ColecoVision Mini, a Intellivision Mini, 2600 Mini, Super Nintendo, PlayStation, and a couple of them. A couple others are behind me. There's a couple more handhelds. There's my Scorpio Edition 1X. There's the Series X, just kind of chilling back there. Now, any retro game room should have a CRT TV, and this one I picked up for $5. These things are getting more and more expensive nowadays, and you find one, pick it up, especially if you have those old arcade or old game consoles, such as the Genesis, Super Nintendo. Up on top, you have the Japanese version of the TurboGrafx. That is this. Well, it started out as this in Japan, and you got the Street Fighter 2 right there. Got a couple tiny world's smallest arcades there. There's my Virtual Boy box. The Virtual Boy is behind us again on a shelf right now. That's my favorite GamePro magazine, only because it's really highlighted the Dreamcast launch. I practically slept with this magazine, just reading it and then falling asleep. And, Dick Tracy I was a big Dick Tracy fan. This little thing I think is kind of dope. I got the controller. Alright, so this little TV here is a screen, essentially. It turns on and off, and it has, hundreds of Nintendo games on it. I think it's pretty cool, as a display piece. Chargeable, of course, wireless, remote controller there. It's my Virtual Boy box. The Virtual Boy's behind me, and RoboCop figure, re-release. Very cheap, junky, $5 arcade machine that has like no official games on it or even emulated games. It's just a bunch of junky My Arcade games, but nonetheless, I got it for $5. I threw it up on here. Galaga, of course. That's the small Galaga. This is the big Galaga machine. Yep, another Baby Yoda. My Phillies 2008 World Championship hat. It's Master Chief. And there's some of the figures I played with as a kid. Some of my favorite ones. The other ones are in my closet in a bag. I just don't have the shelf space for all of them. Gotta have the championship belt. These two, Ultimate Warrior, Macho Man, WrestleMania 7. retirement match. There's a He-Man there. There's a second of my 3 Sega Dreamcast consoles. Some more Macho Man. CM Punk you see in the background there. There's the WrestleMania 8, Ric Flair versus the Macho Man, who ultimately ended up, spoiler alert, winning that World Championship from Ric Flair at WrestleMania 8. There's my replica World Championship rings. You guys, some of you might remember these guys. The muscle men, they were called. Let's back up a little bit. Again, the CRT TV, which right now is playing the Sega Genesis, Madden 95. The good old days. There's a few figures back here. Another Bret Hart, another Warrior, another Hogan. Behind that is Prince Adam from He-Man. Ghost Popper. There's Ecto-1. Another Roger Rabbit. Oliver and Company, one of my favorite Disney movies as a kid. And when I first started collecting, or recollecting again, this stand here actually spins, and each side has slots for, you know, cartridges. Essentially, that's what I used them for, and it's fantastic. It spins around. It holds a lot of cartridges. One side of it is Genesis. The other side is, the other two sides are the Nintendo 64, and then of course my Genesis carts kind of spilled out to the side here, but I got them nice vertical format here. Not too bad. Nothing crazy. Of course, there's Zero. There's a little Defender on top of Galaga. Here's a quick shot of the consoles here. You saw what was above that, which is these guys. So now you have the Sega Dreamcast hooked up, ready to go. 2 Xbox 360s, the E and the Launch Edition. The Slim is what's hooked up. There's the Dreamcast mouse and keyboard on its side. Of course, a VMU controller. There is over here the Wii, hooked up, ready to go. The GameCube, ready to go, on top of the ready to go Wii U. There's the Wii U gamepad right there, charging. There is, under here is my Nintendo 64. I do need a little bit extra more space for my for my N64 carts. You know, just started getting too many, and I got to find some room. I don't like them sitting here in front of the console. There's my Sega Saturn, the 3D controller, my ready-to-go HD DVD player if I ever want to watch some HD DVDs. On the main entertainment console, you have the PlayStation 1, PlayStation 2, and PlayStation 2 Slim. The PlayStation 2 has the 40 gigabyte hard drive inside of it. PlayStation 3 Slim. PlayStation 4 with the VR unit. Okay. Now to the left of that, you have the aforementioned Xbox 360 Slim, ready to go with the Kinect in the background. The OG Xbox, hooked up, ready to go. The Gold Star 3DO under the Vader Edition Atari 2600, all black edition, I should say, Atari 2600, hooked up, ready to go. The Atari Jaguar with the Pro controller, official Pro controller, I should say, not a re-release or anything, although there's nothing wrong with that, of course. Missile Command 3D is plugged into the Atari Jaguar. Let's see here. Now, on what would normally be my ottoman is an arcade uh, controller that it's the At Games Legends Gamer Mini, which does connect to a console that is connected to the TV, and you can play, you know, to your heart's content any arcade game that you can possibly think of. There's my Switch, iPad. Now there's another TV here, smaller flat screen. That's for anything really that I want to hook up to it. There's my TurboGrafx 16 Mini next to my Sega Genesis Mini, and so that's ready to go for any mini I want to connect to it, or anything else that I want to connect to it. Okay. There's my wall here next to the door. This is a Android tablet that just streams content, kind of like a TV on the wall, essentially. So if you have any old Android tablets, put on YouTube, put on Switch on or Twitch on that, and you can just, for your game room, have things streaming. It's a light switch here. I made this. I don't know. I got creative one day, and I said, why not? Why couldn't I be able to just make this myself? And I did. Printed it up, cut it out. Game room's not complete without some darts, right? Some Star Wars darts here. There's some figures that are, again, lining the top of the wall here. Some Ghostbusters figures. There's some Pogs up here. If anybody, again, is, was a kid in the 90s, you'll remember what Pogs are. This is more of an area to store things. This is inside what would have been a closet. I turned it into kind of like where I have my desk, and again, some more shelf space. There's another PlayStation 3 Fat, original Xbox. My very first PlayStation. Another PlayStation, two PlayStations here working, all working, of course. The Sega Saturn, another working Saturn there. There's Devils, New Jersey. I live in New Jersey, so got to respect the Devils. I mean, they won 3 Stanley Cups in the late 90s, mid to late 90s and early 2000s. And, the Flyers have won. I love my Flyers, but they haven't won anything since 75. So, I got to respect the Devils for what they did there. There's some football figures here. Some Phillies World Championship squad here. Now you'll see some stuffed animals, and these stuffed animals, again, are from when I was a child. You got Teddy Ruxpin kind of sitting back here. These two guys here, my niece had made for me, and I thought they were really cool, so I told her I was going to hang them up. There's a retro game cave mug or cup, tumbler. My sister-in-law had made for me for Christmas one year. Cereal box of some Ghostbuster cereal. There's, again, some of the stuffed animals that I had as a kid. The My Buddy doll. If you were born in the 80s, or if you were a kid in the 80s, you know what that is. You may have had one yourself. There's the Nestle Quick guy, Littlefoot there, holding a couple of controllers. This is my catcher's mitt from when I was a kid. Garth Brooks Collector's Edition here. Another cereal box, empty cereal box, I might add. And this shield here is a gift from my buddy again, Bob, who got that for me, which was pretty cool. Let's see here. We got some down here under the desk. You have some my console boxes here, and again, they're not in the way. Like, I can literally sit at my desk without any issues. There's another Alf there. There's my Eagles Super Bowl champions hat. This is my desk setup here. Of course. Now let's spin us around here. Try not to make you guys sick. So here's my Space Invaders arcade machine here. I made my own sports banners up there. There's some of my Sega Saturn, just treasures, really. This one being the biggest, Magic Knight Ray Earth Complete. There's my Roy Halladay card there. There's Batman and Robin. Captured the Joker there. It's my Iron Soldier collection sitting right here, right above Mr. Gizmo. Let's see, you got some TurboGrafx, all my entire TurboGrafx collection back there, with CD games and a couple of PC Engine games. There's a WizKid, another toy from the 80s I absolutely loved. Roger Rabbit. And here's the NES Power Glove. It's a working Power Glove, just for obvious reasons not connected, right now, because it's not exactly the ideal way to play the Nintendo. You thought so as a kid before you got your hands on it. There's an N-Gage game case there. There's my Zelda watch here that you would get from, like, Toys R Us, Kmart, any retail store. You would be able to pick up one of these watches, and basically it's a game / watch / alarm. It's a game on there. Is my N-Gage, working N-Gage. It's my Genesis 3 with the official Genesis 3 controller. My Virtual Boy, working Virtual Boy with the ribbon cables on the inside completely redone. So this is the article in Retro Gamer magazine that I was featured in, Collector's Corner. I was really excited about this, and so much so that I had to buy the actual magazine, but also print out the article itself and put it on my wall. Thundercats lunchbox, of course, had that as a kid. There's another iPad that just kind of runs screenshots of some games. There's a C64 Mini, my PS1 Mini with the screen, and of course a virtual unit memory card. My original Game Boy from when I was a kid. working. My TurboGrafx Express. Let's see. My Neo Geo console, mini Neo Geo, with the Neo Geo controller that can connect to it for two-player gaming. You can tell I liked DuckTales when I was a kid. There's my other Talk Boy from the Home Alone movie. Some more figures up here. My Atari Carts box. Of course, I do have Atari Carts. This right here, this Batman, is a piggy bank that I just decided to hang up. It actually came with the Batman cereal back in 1989, and you know, it's pretty cool to find that at a thrift store, an antique store, I should say. That's where that's from. It was an antique store. Tons more figures here. Another Batman, just, you know, Batman, one X-Man, some Thundercats up here. There's another RoboCop there. Turtles movie figures. There's another handheld here. There's a Sega Saturn controller back there. Some long box PlayStation titles. Here's my Dick Tracy wrist radio. Absolutely, as a child, I went bonkers for this. It was a mail-in. The only way to get it was mail order from the back of a cereal. I think it was Captain Crunch cereal from the, you know, whenever that movie came out, 88, 87, 89. Took forever to get to the house, and when it did, I absolutely loved it. Basically, it's a wrist radio. You connect your headphones in there to it. I just thought it was the coolest thing when I was a kid. There's the rest of my Ghostbusters figures here. Slimer back here. Some PCFX console with controller and a couple of games back here. There's some NES games on top of that. There's the majority of my NES games right there. This is a half-sealed 3D Dot Heroes. I bought this on clearance at my Walmart a couple years ago, and hey, I'll take it. Very hard to find, very expensive game. Bought it for $5. Never opened it. It's just, you know, the packaging just got jacked up being in Walmart's back rooms forever. Here's all my handheld consoles: 3 PSPs, 2 Vitas. You know, there's my Lynx 2 Game Gear, tons of Game Boys back there, Game Boy Advance, DS's, 3DS's. Some of my Sega CD games back here. It's the Halo collection. Here, inside here, is my Super NES collection, Atari Jaguar game collection with boxes back there as well. Here is my CD collection. These are all my CD games. I do perfect way. If you don't have the space for the boxes, it's the perfect way to store them. So, but if you do have the space, use the boxes, use your game cases. But perfect way to organize your game console or games if you do not have the storage. It's my Dreamcast games with some Sega CDs, Saturn. Well, that concludes this game tour, guys. If you have any questions, let me know. Feel free to ask. I'll try to do my best to answer them. And thanks again for tuning in.